Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstones. Peace, mercy, and blessings unto the hopeful elect. The Israelites of the Bible are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we're going to start off with the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19. And it reads, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath." Again, James 1 verse 19. "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath." We have to be, when you're in this truth, you have to be more quick to hear than to speak. That's why Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to speak. And we go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 5, it reads, "A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel." So if we're wise, we're going to be wise enough to hear and to increase learning. And also a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. Because the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, He puts the Spirit on other brothers to give us counsel or to give us a wise word. And if we're able to hear and stay quiet and hear, we're going to be able to attain it. And we go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, verse 1. It reads, "Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil." So just like how we go, when we're in the highways and hedges, and we're prophesying, letting our people know that we're the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And then when they ask us questions, we're able to be swift to hear, slow to speak, because then we're able to listen to them. We're able to then answer them instead of, interrupting them. Just like how we do it with Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, we have to do the same thing with other people. If we go to the book of Matthew, this is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ. Matthew 11 and 15. It reads, "He that had ears to hear, let him hear." So every time Yahweh Shai would say something, he would always say, "He that had ears to hear, let him hear." So if you have ears to hear, you're going to be able to hear what the message is, We go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 5, verse 11. It reads, "Be swift to hear," so be quick to hear, "and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer." So when you're quick to hear and let your life be sincere, truthful, and with patience, you're able to give that answer, And that doesn't only go with the brothers in this truth, but with people in the world. You're able to be swift to hear, and with patience give them answers. If we go back to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19, because there's more into it. "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak." So like it says in Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, be swift to hear and be sincere, and with patience give answer. Also, if you go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 7, it reads, "A time to rant and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak." So there's always a time for everything, a time to hear and a time to speak. Back again to James chapter 1:19, because there's more. James chapter 1, verse 19. "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath." You have to be slow to not being angry or getting angry or letting people get you angry. We could go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 14. Book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 29. It reads, "He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding." So if you're slow of getting angry, you're of great understanding. You have great understanding. You know how to control your emotions. You understand your emotions. You don't let your emotions control you. But he that is hasty of spirit exalted foolishly. But if you're quick to get mad, then you exalted folly. We can also go to the book of Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. It reads, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So if you're slow to getting angry, you're better than a mighty man. And he that ruleth his spirit, than he that taketh a city. So if you're able also to control your spirit, control your emotions, it's better than someone that could take a city. Because you're thinking logically and not emotionally. And when you think logically, you think outside the box. You see things clearly. You don't act out of emotions or let your emotions control you. We go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 9. It reads, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry. So don't be quick to be angry. For anger rested in the bosoms of fools. So if you get angry right away, you're going to act like a fool. You don't want to be a fool. You want to be wise and not let your emotions control you. We also go to the book of Sirach, chapter 8, verse 11. It reads, rise not in anger at the presence of an injurious person, lest he lie in wait and to entrap thee within thy words. So when you're angry, when you let your emotions control you, you're gonna say things that later on they could use it against you. You don't want that. You want to be able to conduct yourself in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and in logic. It's kind of hard to do so sometimes because there's some people that get you angry, but that shouldn't let you control you. Like, you have to be stoic. Yes, control, feel your emotions, but don't let your emotions control you. Just like it says in the book of Ephesians. We'll go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. So yes, you could be angry. You could feel your emotion of anger, but sin not. You shouldn't be making you go off. Not by being angry, let you go off and start doing stuff that's going to make the ministry look bad. Yes, feel your emotion of being angry, mad, sad, whatever, but don't let it control you. Remain stoic. Like the Stoic says, you can feel your emotions, but don't let your emotions control you. Again, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Feel your emotions, but don't let the whole time your emotions get to you. Don't sin out of it, and then don't let it happen to the next day. Let it keep, let it go. At the end of the day, just let it go. Feel them, but don't let it control you, and let it go. So again, if we go back to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19, it reads, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. And if you go to verse 22, it says, be ye doers of the word, by reading this word of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, be also doers, because it's teaching you things. And not hearers only. Don't just hear, but apply it. Deceiving your own selves, because if you don't, then you're deceiving your own selves. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.